Hello everyone, welcome to the next part of enumeration. In this part I am going to start the service, that is DNS, and I am going to perform the enumeration on this service as well. But here today I am going to discuss about what is DNS, what are DNS records, what is DNS don't transfer. So in this session I'm going to cover this, and the next session will be on the enumeration, that how we can use the tools and techniques to identify the information if we found domain port open or port like 53 is open. So let's start first with what is DNS. DNS is basically your domain name system, which is used to translate domain name into the IP address. And for example, when you open any website on your browser, then how it works: when you open any website, it first translate your domain name into the IP address, then it will load your website information or website resources. So this is what the domain name system is, and without DNS we couldn't resolve any host name and domain name into IP addresses. For that we definitely need the DNS to resolve all these things. Well, basically we can also say this is a kind of phone book or directory of the internet. Here you guys can see on my screen about the DNS. However, DNS is one of the most frequently attacked protocol, where different type of attacks are spread within any infrastructure. The attacks like we have the DNS cache poisoning attack, right? We have DNS brute force and DNS flood. So there are a lot of attacks can be performed on the DNS service or server. And then next we have the process. This is basically a DNS process which help in loading a web page, that how a web page or website is load. This is the process behind that thing. Like the first step is DNS recursor. So basically when we talk about DNS recursor, it's about the DNS recursion, and it is designed to receive queries from client and also responsible for making additional requests in order to satisfy the client's query. So this is what the DNS recursor is. And then we have the root server. This is also we can also say the root name server as well. So this is the step which is used to translate the human readable host name into the IP addresses. So this is basically resolve our domain name or host name into the IP addresses. This is what the root name server is. And then we have a top level domain server, or we can say TLD. Basically this is used to search for the specific IP address and its last portion of host name. Like for example, when you open any website, like I'm opening hackersfactory.com, so the TLD server in this case for hackerfactory.com is com, the last portion of the host name. This is what the TLD is. And then the last is authoritative name server. So this is the last stop in the name server query. If this name server has access to the requested record, then it will return the IP address for the requested host name back to the DNS recursor, which was made in the initial request. So this is the process which helps to loading a web page. And here we heard about the IP addresses. So basically you should know about what is an IP address. So when we talk about IP address, it is an internet protocol address which is a unique and identify a device on the internet or a local network. So there are two types, like we have IPv4 and we have IPv6. So if you guys don't know about the IP address, then you can search it on Google and you can go through with all the information related to the IP addresses and the type of all these things. And then we have next DNS records. So basically when we talk about DNS record, it provides the important information about the domain or a host name. So the most common DNS records, DNS type record, you guys can see on my screen. Like we have address record, CNAME, mail exchanger is there, name server, start of authority, text record, service, pointer. So these are some of the important record, and beyond these there are some other records, like we have SPF record is there, and we have other records like certificate records are there. So you can even see there are a lot of records, but let's start with first address record. So when we talk about address record, this is basically store a host name, and it will help to translate the domain name into the IP address, and it is used for the IPv4, which is your 32-bit, right? So you can learn about more about this IP addresses. And then we have AAA. This is basically the same it's basically a same record, that is address, but it is used for the IPv6. And then we have a CNAME. CNAME is also important. This is basically a canonical name, which is used to alias a host name to another host name. For example, when you open fb.com, if you just open in your URL, that is fb.com, then it will redirect to the facebook.com. So fb.com and facebook.com, so these are kind of a canonical name, right? So there are some tools that will help you to check these information. You can check it through the there is a MX toolbox. You can use NS lookup. So these are some of the tools that will help to help us to identify or enumerate about this information. And then we have mail exchanger. So mail exchanger, basically it specify an SMTP server or SMTP email server for the domain, which is used to route outgoing emails to a email server. So this is the mail exchanger. You can also identify information of mail exchanger through the NS lookup command and other tools that I will also discuss or show you in the next session, or some information in this session. And then we have a name server. So this is also one of the important DNS record, which specified that a DNS zone, right? For example, we have test.com, right? So it is delegated to a specific authoritative name server and provides the address of the name server. So when you purchase any domain, then you will get only two name server, right? When you purchase any website, right? So if you want more, then you have to pay. So the name server, we can also identify the name server information through the tools that we have, like NS lookup and other tools, MX toolbox and robottext.com. So these are some of the online platforms that also help to identify information about these name servers. And then we have a start of authority. So this is also one of the important DNS records, start of authority. So this record appears at the beginning of a DNS zone file, and it indicates the authoritative name server for the current DNS zone. So this is what the start of authority is. Basically this record also contain the information about the contact details of domain administrator, domain serial number, and other information, right, of the DNS zone. So this is what the start of authority is. And then we have a TXT record or text record. The use of this record is for domain verification, and this is the text record. Sometimes when a website needs to validate the owner of domain, they ask the owner to create a text record with some information in it. After that the information is checked, and if the information is correct, then the record is found, or we can verify the owner is valid. So this is what the use of this text record. And then we have a service record. So this is used for to communicate with the protocols. This records, that is used to communicate with your protocols, ports, and other domains name server. So this is what the service is, or SRV. And then we have a PTR, or pointer record. This is basically translate your IP address into the domain, right? So it is a reverse lookup, kind of reverse lookup. If you search, for example, if you open your browser and you can just type IP address in the URL, then it will open a website directly. So it will run as a reverse lookup. And there are some other record like SPF. So when we talk about SPF, this is also one of the most popular record, and this is a sender policy framework which is used to list which server are allowed to send emails from the domain. So this way, when an email is sent to the mail server, it will check the SPF record that the client is allowed to send emails or not. Basically, it is used as an anti-spam measure, and if it is not configured properly, then attacker can perform mail spoofing attack. So let me show you how we can check all these things. For example, let's start first with the what was that first I have discussed the canonical name. So for that, you guys can open the MX toolbox, or you can just write here CNAME, and this one is the website from where you can identify information. And let me first use fb.com. So it's starting, and here you can see the information reported by, this is the canonical name, kind of facebook.com. When I search for the fb.com, and same as you can also look for the mail exchanger name server. So you have to just click on this drop down box, and here you can see all the information that you want. For example, I want to check the mail exchanger, then you can just select MX and click here, and here you guys can see the mail exchanger information with their IP addresses. Right, so this way you can check this information, or if you want any name server related information, you can even check the name server, or you can also use the command that is nslookup to identify this information. And I have also mentioned the record, that is SPF. This one is also important, or the famous record. If it is misconfigured, then definitely attacker can perform attacks like spoofing, right? So you can also check for the SPF record, and here you can see this record type and search for this, and here you guys can see the SPF record. So if it is not configured or it's misconfigured, then definitely I'll again tell you that there are some chances to perform the spoofing attack, mail spoofing attack. So this is just a simple way for enumeration of DNS. And the other part, let me go to the next slide. So this is about DNS zone transfer. So when we have DNS zone transfer, first of all, what is DNS zone transfer? So it is the process where a DNS server passes a part of copy of its database to another DNS server. And so it's how you can have more than one DNS server which is able to answer queries about a particular zone. So there is one primary zone server, or we can say there is a primary server and the secondary server, right? So a primary server and the secondary server. So secondary server have one or many server, and in this case the secondary server asks the primary for a copy of the records for the zone, right? So first the request goes to the primary server, it asks for the first goes to the secondary server, then it asks for the primary server for the information, then it will get back to the main communicator. And then we have also the two things, that is AXFR and IXFR. So this is basically a full zone transfer, or the IXFR is a incremental zone transfer. So full zone transfer mechanism which help to transfer the entire zone information, where the incremental zone transfer, which is help to transfer only the changed portion of a zone. It means when we add something in the server, it will only change that portion in the incremental zone. So this is what the AXFR and IXFR. So we can also check for the misconfigured zone transfer related information through the tools like dig. We have, using dig tool, we can perform this thing. I will also show you that how we can check this information in the next session. And here these are some of the tools that is used for the enumeration or banner grabbing, like DNS enum is there, DNS recon, fairs is there, NS lookup, and the nmap scripts are there, which is help us to identify the information if we found domain port is open. And these are some of the attacks that I will discuss in the next slide, that what attacks that we can perform on the DNS, that like DNS flood attack, brute force, domain hijacking, TCP SYN flood. So this is what I will show you in the next part of DNS enumeration. So thank you guys, stay tuned for the next session.